those initiated, Gregory Horror Show, or GHS, was a horror comedy animated created by Naomi Iwata in 1999. Is about a mysterious hotel at the edge of reality occupied by Gregory, soul-stealing mouse bent on taking over the world and the myriad of guests that call the place home. If you're unfamiliar with the show, you may have been familiar with the 2003 game for the PS2. There's still GHS-related media being made till this day, with an upcoming video game getting announced a few months ago. I loved it when I was younger, and I still do, but one thing about that frightened me, and it wasn't even from the show itself. Rattenkonig. What the image could have been. I was scouring around the web in 2011 is still a newbie to the internet. I had found a playlist containing every episode of GHS, but one video stuck out to me. In the middle of season 1, there was a video that seemed out of place. It was entitled Gregory Horror Show Secret Episode Rattenkonig, with the thumbnail being a picture of a bunch of rats tied by their tails. I've attached what I think could be the image I saw, but I'm still unsure. Curious, I clicked the video to see what it was. It started off of a Windows Movie Maker title sequence saying, "Yo guys, I just found a new episode of GHS. You should all watch it." It felt like it was going to be some stupid screamer video at first, but then I thought about how it seemed weird to be put in the middle of the show archive, especially for something relatively obscure. The episode began with some shot of a hallway. Interestingly, the episodes appear to be from Gregory's perspective. You could hear the room's keys as he carries the jingling, and you could see his gray hands when he looked down. He sounded out of breath, exhausted. The hallways was extremely saturated with orange and red, which was a bit strange. The walls were usually brown or a bit grayish. Another odd thing was that it looked like the model of a hallway was using more realistic textures than normal, like they were photos taken of someone's house. The longer he searched, the longer he appeared to be looking for something. Or more likely, someone. Soon he finally spoke. "This can't be right," he said unclear under his breath. "James should have been in his room by 9. He's been never disobeyed by the curfew." Gregory's voice was nothing more than an anxious whisper. He wasn't like his normal self in the show, which was overconfident and nefarious. Now he was a bit concerned. He peeked through the numerous doors and trying to find his grandson before doing something else that caught his attention. A recreation of the hallway. The horrific squeak of the chains, something approached from the darkness, which is the JB hallway. Whistling soon followed, reminiscences of the song Judgment Boy, who would periodically sing as he traveled through the hotel. Gregory froze in his tracks, and the viewer could see the familiar glows, something pink and something gold. He held in cages, suspended by chains, carried by a so-called seer of the truth. "What are you doing here?" Gregory asked, frustrated. "You know why I'm here, Gregory. You're currently wondering whether to search for your kin or to sleep until dawn. Split decision, my speciality." Obviously to see. Before Gregory could finish, Judgment Boy was suddenly staring at him with an expression of almost satisfaction. "I know why the rat's tails bind. Easy to see. Unless you're blind." He sung the tune of his theme. "I know what they have done with James, and there's only one to blame." He smiled, seeming to mock Gregory's plight. "Where is he? Please, tell me." "Look behind you." As he spun around, the hallways changed to a black void, and we could see what happened. Numerous with numerous corpses, some bones, some still with skin, were all bound together by the tips of their tail. Gregory's breathing got heavier as the squeaking of chains returned yet again. Here we can finally make out James's body, weak and laying on the ground right by Gregory's feet. All owners who fall in Gregory's house, whether past, present, or future, just end up here. Just another part of the Rattenkonig. Judgment Boy could be heard scoffing and laughing as the episode faded to black. What? I mouthed after watching the episode. The whole thing was off. This had to be some sort of like fan animation, right? But later that night, I had a bizarre dream that told me that the video wasn't ordinary, perhaps even supernatural. I was in my bedroom, lying awake, unable to close my eyes, as I felt like I was paralyzed from the neck down, unable to speak. I could hear someone whistling outside, approaching the door, which was closed. It creaked open, and I could see a floating slink in like a shadow. Do you know who I am? The voice sounded familiar, but at the time I couldn't remember what I heard. But it was echoey, almost ethereal, but clearly not benevolent in nature. I tried to respond, but again, my lips were sealed shut. How does it feel to be an heir to the Rat King's throne? Suddenly, it clicked in my mind and I could speak. But as soon as I did, I sat up awake in a cold sweat. I tried to find the video, but it was gone. It was, in fact, no one else online has brought it up. It was like tailor-made to me? Was it all a dream I had? No. It can't be. I could still hear the chains squeaking at night, right outside the bedroom door. Update. I feel dumb. I feel numb. I can't see. I can't hear. I can't feel anything. All I could see is the small notion of someone staring at me from the darkness. It got in and it must feed. JB demands it from me. He wants me. This line was written in Frankie's dream diary roughly 2 hours before she disappeared. The bottom of the page was a sketch of a human face with obvious anomalies, visibly sharper teeth, a nose of slightly different shade, V-shaped brows, and glasses that appeared to be like markings. Underneath the sketch was Japanese kanji, hentai, meaning judgment. This was very confusing to us, since no one else knew it was as a second language. He soon came to a conclusion that someone else had drawn and written what appeared to be in her journal. This thing is whatever my sister saw. He took her. Now he shall pay. I'm going in. This is my choice, and I'm willing to live with the consequences. Update. It's happening again. I see her standing in my yard, Frankie, with her eyes wide in terror, and a face gaunt. She stumbled around the background like a baby deer and learning to walk. She stared up at me through the windows where I could see her bloodshot eyes. She was out of breath, crying, and just in bad shape. Instantly, I just ran down the stairs and unlocked the back door, which led to the patio. But when I opened the door to welcome her in, there was nothing outside besides one of those old-fashioned bird cages on the doorstep. Inside that cage was a dead rodent. It was nothing but a skeleton at that point. But I decided that it was one of the three things: a squirrel, a chipmunk, or a rat. Probably a rat, though, given the context. Another thing I knew was it was gross, so I threw it in the garbage. Like the idiot I am, though, I left the door open. You know how they say that vampires need to be invited into a home? That also applies to whatever in the name of God took my sister. I'm also finding more and more dead stuff here. Flies, spiders, rats. I found at least 10 hidden under the sink, all tied by their tails. Whatever it is, it keeps putting them here. I had no clue what to do. Maybe I should do the same as them. Later that night, I was laying in bed, texting my girlfriend, when suddenly there was a rapid banging on the door. I crept towards the blinds and raised them, tense and anxious. My breathing slowed. I was ready to go for a punch. I could see someone perch on the roof naked, long blonde hair, thin body. I could see her eyes. They were sympathetic, but they were insecure. Like a feral beast, she turned towards me and ran, banging the head against the window and seeming to disintegrate the night like the mist. Soon I lied back in bed. I was absolutely exhausted. I rolled around trying to get comfortable. It was hot then cold. It was impossible to sleep. At one point, I faced the old windows in my room that I hardly used anymore. This was the first time in years that it was turned on. Soon as I booted on, a short video started to play in full screen. The video started with the sound of a rat trap snapping shut, like as if it was activated by an accident. Soon enough, they'll come looking for you. Soon enough, they'll ask me where you are. This is the only time they cared about you, it seems. When you may or may not be in mortal danger, they may just let you wander around the seedy place unsupervised, easy pickings for somebody with ulterior motives. James could be seen cowering in a corner, visibly bruised by various traps. Why are you doing this to me? I had no choice, James. I must do this in the name of finding the truth. But I didn't do anything. I'm innocent. Well, there's one thing. You're related to the owners of this wretched place. That's enough to get the electric chair if you're lucky that you're not dead. Another snap. Already. Suddenly a clap of thunder lights up the room, showing an uncomfortably humanoid Judgment Boy. James was human too. I thought I recognized him from something, but I may be misremembering. No one will come looking for you until I speak your name. It's like you're the middle child, but there's only one of you, not three. They never listened to my truth. They ignored my order. It was their choice. Now they must live with it. Then there was a loud, sickening crunch as the video ceased playing. This was followed by my computer hitting the BSOD. Great. The more and more this goes on, the more and more I begin to think that Frankie's spirit may be living through me. Update. I'm getting tired of this. I just want to move at this point. Unfortunately, I'm stuck here due to my economic situation. JB's also started sending me emails, I think. I have no clue who they're from, but it's him. Beyond a reasonable doubt, there's at least 5 accounts that just keep sending me the same message. I've tried blocking all of them, but every time I do, a new one pops up, and for the others, it's always Gmail accounts too, with actual names: Aubrey Davenport, Quincy Johnson, and Linda Moore. He's even emailed to me under Frankie's name before. Piece of... oh my god. I'm gonna respond to him and tell him exactly how I feel. This is what he sends every time. It never fails. There are some word differences, of course, but he always mentions habeas corpus and my lawyer. Habeas corpus, Austin. Habeas corpus. You don't have her body, so you don't prove anything. Even if she's still alive somewhere, you won't find her. You can't find her, I guarantee it. Signed, your lawyer. I'm tired, that's all I could say. Every time I step foot in this house, it's like the energy sucked from me. Like I'm being drained by thousands of mosquitoes every evening. So if you don't hear from me again, you won't be shocked. The police can't do anything because they won't believe me. I can't just call a ghost hunter because this stopped qualifying as a ghost when the video played. I might call a priest, but they may not listen either. And of course, I'm not calling Niami Iwata himself. What would he do anyways? As I write this, I can hear chains squeaking. It's like if I'm relieving my sister's pearl. I'm leaving. He can leave the house, I just don't care anymore. I'm just done with this paranormal stuff. The rat's tails can bind in this house. I just don't want to be here. I don't need answers. I just need peace. It was my choice, yes, but I'm not living with this. I'm not living with this anymore, you hear me? Habeas corpus don't apply. This is all the proof I need. Epilogue. It's been exactly a year since my sister wrote about Rattenkonig. She's gone. I know it. I feel it in my bones. I'll never forget her smile, her laugh, the way her hair flown like a waterfall in the sun, her baby blue eyes as clear skies above. She was only 17 when I lost her to that wretched thing that takes the form of the scales of balance. I have a new place in northern Wisconsin, up in the snow, right at the Rust Belt. I have set up a little memorial to Frankie up in my room, which sometimes I catch myself looking at. Just today I received something in the mail. No clue what it was until I got home. It was a huge, unmarked cardboard box. Inside it was a physical copy of the whole of GAHS, with a sticky note in front of Gregory's face. You have grieved properly. You've lived with your choices. You may accept this as a token of my peace towards you. Sir, someone will arrive soon. I placed the Blu-ray down on my TV stand when the doorbell rang again. I ran over and a high school-aged boy standing before me. He had short black hair and a wide, flat face. He was quite ordinary looking, but a bit strange at all once. Are you Mr. Magnetism? Yeah. Who I am. Who are you, or more importantly, how do you know my name? I'm doing a school project. What's it for? I'm writing an essay about grief and how people cope with a loved one's death, and see, I heard of your sister's Frankie's suicide in the newspaper. We weren't allowed to do anything within the year, so I dug up one of my grandpa's Hurricane's gazettes. Wait, what? I sputtered, trying to wrap my mind around what I heard. The boy handed me the local paper from late 2016, and I saw it in the obituary section. Frankie Magnetism, artist, writer, lover. Besides her picture was a poem. Rats by Frankie. Rats are tricky little creatures, mind running a mile a minute. Sometimes we are like that too, when we went to quit it. I'd hate to compare them to us men, but here I always find that like the infamous Rattenkonigs, our metal tails will bind. We get caught up in the whirlwinds of others' plights, and then we get so absorbed with it, we fight. Like city rats are over a mere crumb, over a plethora of other things. We can choose not to be heirs to the deadly vermin kings. Sometimes, though, we succumb and we just have to live with it. It's our choice, but sometimes we just get tired of it. I've never read these words, but they were resonant on a deeper level. My sister was pushed to the brink by stress at school. Every time she came home, it seemed like another so-called friend had insulted her. Another boy had posted pictures of her saying that she was with his girlfriend. Another man messaging her on social media, asking her to record videos of her doing obscene things. Her judgment day came that day in 2016. She tried her best to escape the Rattenkonig, but cracked under pressure.